So now we begin with the resurrection. I wake up Valley Hospital days and days later. They tell me my lungs are just fried. Both of them. They're like, the left one is completely destroyed. And the right one is really good shape compared to the left one, but the right one still looks like a 90-year-old non-filter smokers who's been smoking since he was like 8 or something, you know? I mean, and they had run this like camera down in there and looked around, you know, at one point, and they're telling me the inside of my lungs are seared like a steak. And my doctor in Valley, he's like, is there any chance that like somebody could have put something in your drugs or whatever? I'm like, I don't know. I started thinking about it, and I'm like, I can't imagine, you know? I'm like, I wonder if that did happen. He's like, because the way your lungs are burnt, I mean, you're burnt toast. You got severe problems inside your lungs. And I'm like, so what does all that mean? He's like, well, one, the damaged tissue is so damaged, we have to take the left lung, period. The right one isn't as bad, but we got to find a way to get the lungs to reinflate and like stick to the inside of my chest walls and the inside of my back and stuff, because if the lung won't stay there and it keeps collapsing, I mean, it's just like a matter of time, you know. And then on top of this, they're like, oh yeah, we got to do this surgery soon because either you're gonna die from the lack of the surgery, but you're guaranteed to die after the surgery. You know, it won't be long. And I said, well, won't be long? He's like, maybe 2 to 3 years. If you quit smoking cigarettes. And this is literally like on the gurney before I'm rolling into this surgery, that they're telling me I have less than a 20% chance to live through, because he's like, any kind of breathing complications due to anesthesia or whatever, we're not going to be able to save you. You know, you're going to have one lung completely being removed, and the other one is damaged enough to where, you know, I mean, everything they're telling me is bad, way bad. So I'm like, damn, you know, I'm going to die. Now, mortality is in the picture. My own mortality. So I have a girlfriend with me at this time, totally different girl, you know, her name is Jade. She says, you know, if you're going to die either way, but the surgery will help you live a little bit longer, why don't you just go through surgery? You know, I'm like, I have a 4 in 5 chance of dying. You know how scary that is? I mean, I'm literally about to roll into this room and do a surgery. And I have a 1 in 5 chance of living. But it could extend my life 2 to 3 years. The guys I get will be less than 3 months. If we don't do the surgery, you're bad. So she's like, go for it, man. You're strong. You got this. So I said, all right, let's do it. You know, let's go to surgery. And I'm telling myself as I'm rolling in there, I'm like, I ain't going out like this. I'm gonna make it. I'll be just fine. And you know, they said when I wake up from surgery, you know, I won't be on a ventilator. You know, I should be good enough to go. So next thing I know, I open my eyes, and there's a gas pump nozzle raping my mouth and throat, and I'm looking at a rubber black accordion, and it is breathing for me. And I'm like, holy cow. I'm like, surgery must have went horrible, because I mean, this thing is completely breathing for me. I can't speak. I mean, literally, throat being raped by a gas pump nozzle. Can't speak. I can't even breathe on my own. Literally, I try to breathe in. There is no moving my chest. There's no air going in unless it's with this And then if there's any saliva hits, it just stops the breathing. No matter where you're at in the breathing, I'm missing the left lung already. It feels like every few seconds this thing is stopping a breathing and I'm suffocating. I'm like, oh my God. It is the most fear-filled, traumatic thing ever. I'm just like, I don't even know how to describe this to you. But all I know is, you know, my impending doom is impending. And, you know, what else am I going to do? So while I'm laying there in this hospital bed, one of the first things I start examining, I was like, if this is karma, what did I do to deserve this? That's step one. With this karma and what I did to deserve it, the first thing I come up with is love. You know, my answer is love. Because my love was never unconditional. My love is always conditional. You know, when someone I love did something, I would just completely shut down. You know, I had to admit to myself, I wasn't really as good a guy as I thought I was. You know, sitting around feeling all high and mighty, and I'm just like, man, I fucked up love with everybody I ever told I love them. You know, I mean, I get pissed, do a silent treatment on their ass, or fucking, you know, or just treat them like shit, or, you know, I mean, I'm sure you do. And then I'm like, okay, so now that you can admit to yourself that you weren't good at loving people, what else could you have done that makes you deserve this karmic moment, you know, where you're in all this pain and your mortality is impending? And so then I have to accept that I wasn't as good of a dad as I could have been, you know. And then I have to go down, I wasn't as good of a husband as I could have been. I could have been much better. I could have been a much better husband. I could have been a much better dad. I could have been a much better man. I'm going through all these thoughts while I'm laying there with one lung, you know? Can't breathe. And then this strange vision of signing this life insurance policy. And then there's this girl with a walking danger flag, and she's just a giant red flag, you know? And then she gone. She left it so long ago. And then, you know, Jay the same way. Jay's nowhere near the hospital. I'm in the hospital days and days. No one even knew I was there at one point. And then after she did figure out I was there, she still didn't come down there for like, it was forever. And I'm like, if somebody really loved me, why would they just let me hang, you know, by myself in this ICU, SICU? I mean, just like, I was like so hurt in so many ways. And then a pain like you just cannot believe. Pain in a level of, you know, my fucking eyelashes hurt. Toenails hurt. I've never been in pain like this. And I'm not like a pudding pop when it comes to pain, but this pain was another level. Everything hurt, and it hurt bad. So, next step, you know, I've been in the hospital like almost 2 months. They're about to release me. Took a long time to like wean me off the Dilaudid, because that shit is addicting on another level. You know, I'm in the hospital and I'm screaming at these people, throwing my bedpan, demanding they give me the Dilaudid while they're trying to wean me off. I mean, I was just losing my mind. You know, when they take your lung, you try to stand up, you could pass out. I did. Every time I stood up for a long time, I mean, I get dizzy. I mean, there's a whole list of other things that went with this, but it's bad. So now here we go. I get out of the hospital, chest tube holes all like, stitched and stapled, and I can't move my left arm at all. My left leg barely works, but I'm scared to tell people that because now I'm like, dude, I'm busted up. And I'm scared still of what will happen because, my doctor scared the hell out of me when he started saying that he thinks someone put something in my drugs to cause all this damage, because he's like, and they were smart with chemistry, because whatever it was like, he said maybe the heating of it turned it to like a folic acid to where I would still catch a high, but it would sear the inside of the lungs, and in such a way where your pain receptors wouldn't even have time to fire. And I'm like, this stuff is like science fiction as far as I'm concerned. Like, hell no, this is not real. And I'm thinking about the life insurance policy, and I'm thinking about my kids, I'm thinking about me. And then I moved back in with my mom, and it's like, I want to say it was less than 2 weeks later, she kicks me out. And I'm like, I can't even move my left arm. She's like, yeah, well, you're drinking too much coffee and I'm tired of it. Get out. I was like, do you know what the other homeless will do to me when they realize I'm just this wounded duck? Because being homeless is not a safe endeavor. You can really get jacked up by other homeless. Don't ever doubt that. I watched it. I saw people go through it, and it's scary. So now here we go. I'm homeless again, and I'm carrying my left hand around. I still got good. The reason it's all messed up is because when they break out these ribs, because they literally have to break out ribs to remove the bottom part of the left lung. You have nerve endings that all run behind the ribs, so in case you take damage from the front, you're not damaging soft tissue of nerve endings. So, and nerves, I guess, grow about the width of a human hair every 6 months. So, needless to say, it's a really, slow recovery. I asked my physical therapist, I'm like, so when am I going to be able to do push-ups and stuff? And he starts laughing at me. He's like, you'll be lucky to hold a gallon of milk in a year. I'm like, what? He's like, that's right. You'll be lucky to just hold it in my hand. And boy, he was right on with those numbers. But the best advice he ever gave me was, don't take pain meds. He's all, this is what happens when people take the pain meds. They overwork themselves one day, and then they do so much damage because the pain meds are there to, make sure you're not in pain. It'll do so much damage. It'd be like starting rehab all over again. And that's what people would do, and they would just give up. They would give up trying, because there's plenty of people who come out of that surgery and they don't really ever move their left arm again. And I'm like, this is like the hits keep on coming stuff. I'm like, man, I was like, I'm too young for this. I think I was 39 at the time. Or what is it? 2026, we're talking 2019, 7 years ago. 7 years ago, I was 42. 42 years old. I can't move my left arm. It is completely paralyzed. I can't even pick my hand up above my waist. And there was times I was literally sitting there telling myself, I'm like, move your fingers. Nothing happening. I'm breaking down, bawling, because I'm like, dude, this is like, it's the ultimate level of paranoia for me. I can't protect myself. I can't take care of myself. When I was, before all this, I was a strong man, you know? I mean, if somebody come at me, they better bring a lunch, you know? And now I can't even move my left hand above my waist. You know, the long and short of it is, my physical therapist was right. It takes a long time before I can, it's just under a year before I could pick my left hand up above my left shoulder. And then we're not talking about strong, we're just talking about just get the hand up above the shoulder. Still ain't doing no push-up, no pull-up, no nothing. You know, this left arm is just still a limp dick, so it's like, holy cow. Probably about 3 years it took for me to get functional, homeless. Mom, Missy, homeless, having to do physical therapy like that. And then, you know, before I got hurt, I didn't have no problem going around and whooping some dope addicts' ass if they got out of line. You know, I'm like, what, you gonna try to steal money from me? I'll beat their ass. Now I got this limp noodle left arm. Motherfuckers are coming back with a vengeance. You know, they're coming after me. Once again, scared. You know, now I'm just a frightened child. And at one point, you know, I'm good friends with this lady. She passed not too long ago. But I will never stop loving her for this. As I tell her, you know, because I confessed to her, I was like, I just want to die. You know, I don't want to keep going in this weakened state, feeling so scared all the time that someone's just going to come get me, you know, and just beat me to death, or, you know, I won't be able to protect myself. And she's like, bruh, you don't know how strong you are. And I'm like, I don't feel it, you know. She's like, you don't have to feel it. She's like, I see it. And she starts to explain to me the power of the mind and manifestation and what I've done without realizing what I've done and how strong I was to be able to do these things. She's like, I've rarely seen people be able to do the things you've done in the position you're in. She lets me know I'm a powerful being. You know, I mean, she's the only one out there, you know, because I'm telling her I want to die. And she's like, you're so powerful, you know, you got this. You just got to know it, you know. And then when she gives me some examples, we manifest some things together. And I'm talking scary stuff where I was like, this isn't real, you know, but it is. And then when I started to believe in myself, you know, I'm like, I got this, you know, I can do this, because if her and I can do that together, then I can do this by myself. I got this. So, but then the crew, this is what I call the people who were trying to kill me and destroy me. The crew, they obviously come to her. And so then there's a point where, golly, I mean, she was like my best friend and my homie, and we loved each other. But anytime anyone else was around, she had to act like I was just the biggest piece of shit in the world, and she couldn't stand me and all these other things. And I was so, once again, we're talking about gaslighting on another level, but and she had to explain to me, she's like, I can't go against them. She said, you don't understand. She's like, you may never understand. She's like, I can't go against what everyone wants. I gotta be on that team. And so many times it hurt my feelings, so many times destroyed me with some words, so many times just rude as fuck. I mean, dude, we're talking a group of people, all different walks, all different friends, they're all connected somehow, and they are just abusing me on every level. And in this time frame, boy, oh boy, I start figuring out this dude I used to kick it with in high school, Christopher, and his homie Jason, they have some long, deep connection, my ex-wife. And then I start to figure out they're involved with all of this somehow. And I don't understand how. I don't understand what's going on. I'm still at a total loss because I still can barely move my left arm. It's been over a year since I had the surgery. I'm missing my left lung. I can barely move my left arm. And I'm figuring out that these people are involved with my ex-wife, and they're all involved with this list, I call them the crew, this crew of people that are all trying to kill me. And that's my conclusion in all this, is I'm like, holy cow, these people are all trying to kill me. And it's for life insurance. And then I'm like trying to remember the paperwork. I can't remember the paperwork. I just signed it. I don't even know what I signed, you know? And I still think back and I'm like, man. So at this point, I learned a level of forgiveness that people don't understand. I forgive my mom. I love her, you know? She's my mom, the only one I got. If she tried to kill me and, you know, the ex-wife tried to kill me, that's fine. I'm just going to keep loving him. I'm going to love him even more because, you know, on some level, I probably deserved it, you know? But at the same time, I didn't understand. I'm like, why would my mom, woman who's supposed to love me more than anything, why my ex-wife, woman who's fucking took my last name and told me she loved me and had kids with me, why would they try to kill me? Why would they get a life insurance policy? I don't get it all. But now we start to figure things out. Now I do, at least. I start getting smart. I start placing recorders in places. You know, GoPros, and, you know, and this whole time I'm a methed out criminal. You know, at this point, I'm just now getting around to move my left arm. I haven't had a job in years. I really can't work because I still, you know, get dizzy all the time. But I have done one major accomplishment, and I learned to breathe past the baby lung, the Nemo lung, and get a full breath out of the actual size lung. Which my doctor, my surgeon was like, man, that's a major accomplishment. He saw most people who get the lobectomy, they never develop that ability, so they're always short, you know? And trust me, you're feeling like you're gonna suffocate all the time. You are suffocating all the time. I mean, it's like try just breathing through a straw while you go for a jog. It gets hard as hell. So I do this. I learned how to do it. And this is all, a lot of this is due to Piper. You know, she saved me. And it's just some of the best ways you can save somebody. She let somebody know that their mind is everything. She let me know that my mind controls everything. This isn't a game. This isn't, guess what, you know? This is, you got this, bro. You just have to believe you got this. And once I start going down this, at the same time, I mean, I'm doing a lot of meth, but I'm reading the Bible all the time. I mean, I'm obsessed with it. And then I'm obsessed with the Quran. And then I'm obsessed with the Torah. I'm obsessed with these old writings. I don't like calling them biblical because a lot of them, they're just old writings, and not all of them are in the canon. You know, not all of them are in the King James. There's some of them that are, you know, Jasher and Jubilees and Thomas and Mary. These are all just old writings, you know, Quran, old writing. And I start reading all these things, and I'm putting together things, as well as believing in myself on another level. I'm like, dude, I am. I'm like a superhero. I'm like an X-Man. That's how badass I am. I am surviving. You know, because once I reached the 2-year point after I left the hospital, because they told me, they were like, you'll maybe get 2 years. But that whole time, you know, she's telling me, she's like, it is what you think it is. You think you only get 2 years? You're only getting 2 years. You think you get 3? You'll get 3. So I started telling myself, I'm like, I'm Peter Pan. I'm going to live forever. I'm going to live so long that my haters will be, you know, watching their grandkids die before I go. And the level of health I start to get to, and the level of strength, and now I'm doing push-ups and pull-ups. I mean, I'm serious. I'm intense in all this. I'm getting some strength back, and it's strength that I never had prior to all this damage. Now there's points where I'm stronger than I was before I ever lost the lung, but I still can't breathe that good. You know, physically stronger, yeah, I could, you know, rip the door off something, but it's gonna take me 5 minutes to try to recover from the breathing it takes, you know, but I'm strong. And then I start believing, no, I can breathe better. I know I can, because I know I can. Huge difference between knowing something and thinking something. When you know it, you know it. Those are commands to your body, to your central system. I know I'm not going to fail. I know I'm going to be in the NBA. That's real stuff. When you know it, you're on a different level manifestation. You're on a different level creation, as above, so below. So this is what I do. I start pinpointing people. Who else is involved? Who else is doing this to me? Because these people are still coming after me. I can feel it now, though. I tell myself all the time, I'm like, you are aware. You understand things that others don't. You see what the others can't see. You hear what the others don't hear. And these things start to happen for me. I'm stronger than others. I can hear better. I have visions that I understand. And while I'm telling myself these things, they're happening. They're real. That shit is going down for me. And I'm like, damn. And I start to have visions, and I start to see things, and the things I'm seeing, some of them are beyond scary, you know, but I don't have any fear, because I'm like, someone points out to me at some point, they're like, what are you afraid of? You already died. There's nothing to be scared of. You're dead. They know I was dead over 4 minutes. Doctors, like everybody from the time I got out of the hospital for years, even now, they're like, you're not supposed to be here. And I'm like, yeah, I am. Yes, I am. Because I'm Peter Pan. I'm going to live forever. You want me dead? Shit. Infinite universe I am. I will just keep expanding and getting better. And that's where we end this. And we're going to jump in to the next part. That's the resurrection of me.